Yes, I am. We give God the praise today for His tender mercies and His loving kindness. Want to welcome you to the Valley Church right here on 535 West Main Street in Dothan, Alabama. Want to say welcome to the body of Christ who meets here every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. And from time to time, once a month for the food bank. And now we're going to be meeting every Saturday for hot meals for those who want to come and dine. Now we're going to have hot dogs and condiments one Saturday per month, uh, and a movie, Christian movie. Every which Saturday we're going to do that on? Have y'all talked about that yet?
We're going to try to do it first Saturday of the month
Okay.
versus a second Saturday on matter.
Okay, the first Saturday. Is that okay with you, Miss Bryant?
That's fine.
So you'll be here. So Miss Bryant, Deacon Gillum will be here on the first Saturday of each month with hot dogs and maybe some popcorn and a movie and fellowship. And on second, third, fourth, Miss Bryant will be here with uh, a full blown meal. Wow. Finger licking good. Just like grandma used to do it. Amen. All right.
Well, Pastor Sam, you ordered the popcorn yet?
Mm-mm.
You haven't ordered it yet?
No. The deacons will do that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The popcorn will normally have to come from Sam's, Sam's Club.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
And the food bank is on what day of the week? Wednesday?
No, it's gonna be on. I'm gonna give her out one Saturday while she's cooking.
You gonna have it on Saturday?
One, I'm gonna pick a Saturday. Yeah.
Okay. All right. The food bank will be on Saturday also. Well, these people at Green Valley Church are on the move. We might change our motto from the peace in the valley, from there's peace in the valley to the church on the move. And that's the way it should be. Huh?
Move in the valley.
Movement in the valley. Not dry bones in the valley.
Moving in the valley.
Moving in the valley. All right.
I
All
didn't get
right.
a Facebook notification.
Huh?
I didn't get a Facebook notification.
You didn't?
I got a live from Evo. That camera working. I think Periscope working, but let me check Facebook.
Okay. Okay. So we're saying that there's no Facebook notification from anybody? Huh? Nobody sees Facebook Live? So we're not live on Facebook yet? Huh? Nobody sees anything on Facebook? I hate to stop it, and we are.
Nope.
So go ahead and stop it?
Yeah, you stop it, we're not live.
Okay. Play that music for YouTube so we can. That's what they want to be. Huh?
I just say good evening, everybody.
Hey, Dr. How you doing?
Okay, I just getting back from Georgia. Stopped there to know that Pete passed. Lost him today.
Did you hear him, Pastor?
Huh?
Somebody passed.
Somebody did what?
We lost Pete today.
Who?
Pete.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, he passed.
Yes, that was live. Yeah, I was live for six minutes. The only reason I hate stopping it because I can't put a towel in it once I stop it.
Keep it on then.
Maybe it's just not showing up on our phone.
Did you like select to send us a notification?
Yeah, I can do that. I thought you were getting one.
We used to do.
I got one Sunday, but I didn't get it today.
Okay. Sorry about that, YouTube, for taking so long. We had a delay on this end.
Okay, Facebook is live now.
Okay, so Facebook and YouTube and Periscope are live. Sorry, Periscope, but here we are. We're just a little bit slow tonight. But Deacon Dukes,
Yes, sir.
can you read a scripture for us, please? Then we'll get started. Come up here and read it so they can hear you.
Well, I didn't bring my Bible. I'm just getting back.
All right, Deacon Gillum, can you
Yeah.
read it?
Okay, give me a second.
When Deacon Dukes just got back from Georgia. His brother-in-law passed away, and he didn't bring his sword with him. So don't y'all jump on him. Y'all know he ain't got no sword with him.
What's the scripture?
Numbers chapter 13, verses 23 to 33.
Numbers chapter 13, verses 23.
Numbers 13, 23 to 33.
Okay. All right. Reading from Numbers chapter 13, verses 23 through 33. Then they.
Hold on, one second.
Okay. Then they came to the valley of Eshcol, and there cut down a branch with one cluster of grapes. They carried between two of them on a pole. They also brought some of the pomegranates and figs. The place was called the Valley of Eshcol because of the cluster which the men of Israel cut down there. And they returned from spying out the land after 40 days. Now they departed and came back to Moses and Aaron and all the congregation of the children of Israel in the wilderness of Paran and at Kadesh. They brought back word to them, to all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. Then they told them and said, we went to the land where you sent us. It truly flows with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. Nevertheless, the people who dwell in the lands are strong. The cities are fortified and very large. Moreover, we saw the descendants of Anak there. the Amalekites dwelt in the land of the south, the Hittites, the Jebusites, and the Amorites dwelt in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwelt by the sea and along the banks of the Jordan. Then Caleb quieted the people before Israel and called and said, "Let us go up at once and take possession, for we are well able to overcome it." But the man who had gone up with him said, "We are not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we are." And they gave the children of Israel a bad report of the land which they had spied out, saying, "The land through which we have gone as spies is a land that devours its inhabitants, and all the people whom we saw in it are men of great stature. There we saw the giants, the descendants of Anak came from the giants, and we were like grasshoppers in our own sight, and so we were in their sight."
Amen. Thanks a lot, Deacon Philip. There's been an old saying going around this country for the last few decades. And that saying is, it takes a village to raise a child. My mama would call that a lie. She would say, it just takes me, her, to raise her children. Now, she didn't mind other people getting involved and making sure we did the right thing, but she made sure that she did what was good for us, whatever that meant. She did it to make sure that we were raised the right way. That way, my grandmother, my grandfather, my aunts, and uncles didn't have to do anything to make us do right. We were right when we were at home, and we were right when we left home, because Mama raised us right. All I'm saying is that it don't take a majority of the village to raise a child. It just takes one or two good parents to raise a child. And God had always used a minority to fulfill his will, his purposes. When we look at the whole world of people during Noah's day, God used one man to save the world. One man. Now, the whole world did not listen. The majority didn't listen. But the minority did. And the minority was saved from God's wrath. And what I want you to see in that picture is that just because the majority vote one way doesn't mean that they vote right. Because if they had voted to ignore Noah and God, they voted the wrong way. That's one thing that my mother always taught me growing up as a youngster, and my daddy too. They taught me not to follow the crowd. There's too much bad company mixed with the good company. And the Apostle Paul would tell us in 1 Corinthians 15 that bad company corrupts good manners, good character. You got to watch who you walk with. And you know what? You know what they told me? Also, you're known. What my thing do? You're known.
He had to leave.
Huh?
He had to leave. He told me to tell you.
You're known by the company you keep. Yeah. So watch who you hang with. When I came close to retiring from the Marines, my intention and desire was to go home to Summit, Mississippi, and go down to the bottom and sit on the steps with my buddies that I grew up with. Those were my plans, y'all. It didn't bother me during those days what kind of people they were. I just wanted to be with them. But it would have been to no avail because it would have been a waste of time in many ways. I wouldn't have been doing God's will, following the crowd. And I'm glad I didn't. No wonder God told Abraham when he told him to go into a land that he knew not, to leave his family, leave his kindred behind, leave everybody behind. Leave everybody behind you. I have a purpose for you. I have a job for you. Sometimes family can get in the way of that. So Abraham did what God had commanded him to do. He left family behind. And his mission was accomplished. I was looking at 1 Kings chapter 18. If you ever get a chance to read 1 Kings 18 and 19, actually, read the whole story of Elijah, the prophet. He was a real prophet. Even though he had to stand by himself, stand alone, he stood with the Lord. God had commanded him, had given him the power to pray and stop the sky so that it would not rain. He was able to shut up the sky for 3.5 years as part of God's judgment over Israel, who was a disobedient people. So God would not grant rain because of Elijah's prayer. And James will say to you, James was a man of like passions, just like you and I are. And he prayed for God to stop the skies and then rain for 3.5 years. And he said, you have the same power. You have the same power in your prayers when you talk to God. He said, the effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. So if you're a righteous man and you're standing with God, most of the time by yourself, your prayers are powerful and effective. But Elijah had gotten the word from God in chapter 18 of 1 Kings that the drought was over. The drought was coming to an end because of his prayer. And since God told him that, he went to tell Israel that God had spoken. God has spoken, and he's not silent. So he went and met Ahab, the king of Israel, a Jew who had married this woman who was godless. His wife's name was Jezebel, a godless woman. And she had turned Ahab's heart away from God to the god of Baal, the false god, and the god Ashtaroth, the female goddess. She had turned him away and turned all Israel away from following the only true God. The only God with a voice. The only God with an ear. The only God with eyes who can see what you need. He can see you when you're in trouble. They followed the false God. And Jezebel had 850 prophets of Baal and Asherah. He had 450 prophets of Baal and 400 prophets ministering for Ashtaroth, the false goddess. And she killed all not all, but most of the true prophets of Israel. Killed most of them. Except Obadiah and about 100 more that Obadiah had hidden in caves. And Elijah, because God would always move Elijah. Do you know that you can't die unless God has completed his purpose in your life? He won't let it happen. You cannot leave this world until God's purpose in your life is finished. That's why Jezebel could never kill Elijah. His purpose was not over. So when he went to Ahab, he told Ahab to call all Israel, call all of God's people to Mount Carmel, and call all of your false prophets to Mount Carmel. And when they got there, Elijah gave them a contest. He said, I want to know who God is real. And said the God who who sent down fire from heaven to the altar to cook it is the true God. So he told those false prophets, build your altar, put some wood on it, but don't put no fire on it. Then choose your offering. Choose the animal that you want on the altar. And they did. And then he said, call on your God and see if he'll cook this altar. See if he'll cook this meat. And they called from early in the morning. They called on their God. And he didn't answer. Elijah began to mock them. Well, does he have bad ears? Maybe he can't hear you. Maybe he's asleep. Maybe he's on vacation. And then puts God who can't hear. Then they began to go up on the altar and dance on the altar and call on their God. I mean, they went on top of the altar, y'all, and danced and called on their God. And he wasn't listening. He didn't hear them. And they began to stab themselves with their spears. They took their spears and began to draw blood from one another and cut themselves. And they were bleeding for their God. I mean, they were suffering for their God. Their gods, Baal and Asherah. They were suffering, you know. I mean, they shed their blood for their God. Too bad they didn't know about Jesus, right? Because Jesus is the God who shed his blood for you and I. And for them, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. But they didn't know that. They were following a false God and goddess. And they prayed. Now, didn't James say that the effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much? I mean, these folks were fervent. All cutting themselves, and they were yelling and shouting and singing. And no prayer answer. No answer prayer. So that tells me something. It doesn't matter how high you jump in your prayers, how loud you shout in your prayers, how much you cry in your prayers, how long your prayers are. It doesn't matter about your puppet dog tears. It don't matter. What matters is that it's a prayer of truth prayed in the Holy Spirit, prayed in the Holy Ghost, prayed in sincerity. It doesn't have to be a long prayer. It doesn't have to be pretty. It has to be an effectual, fervent prayer. But these folks prayed until the evening sacrifice, the Jewish sacrifice, and no answer. But the Bible says that the man of God stood up and looked around at Israel, all of God's people. God's people who are worshiping Baal and Asherah, worshiping a false god. And he said, come close to me. Come close to me. Y'all come over here. Y'all come close to me. He said, how long will you be caught between two opinions? How long will you be caught between two opinions? What God to serve? You're on the fence serving Ashtaroth and Baal and serving God on that side. You're straddling the fence. You don't know who to serve. He said, when I pray, if God rains down fire from heaven on this altar, he's God. And they said, that's good. That's good. If God does that, we'll follow him. Elijah said, okay, get some water. Get some buckets of water and cover the altar with water. As a matter of fact, what Elijah did, though, he built his own altar. He didn't want a pagan altar to sacrifice to God. He didn't want the world's altar to sacrifice to God. He didn't want the world to mix with the church. He didn't want the world to mix with godliness. So he built his own altar and dug a trench around it and put some wood on top of the stone and put the altar on top of the stone, on top of the wood. And they told them to take that water and put it on the sacrifice and wet it down. Wet it down so a normal fire could not burn it. A normal fire would be put out. And put some water in the trench around the altar. And watch what God's going to do. Folks used to say, we're going to watch God show up to show out. I'll tell you something. We serve a God who doesn't have to show up. He's already there. We serve an omnipresent God. He's ever present. That's why Elijah was not afraid. He knew that God was with him. That's why I never fear man. I don't fear the devil. I don't fear what may happen to me. I don't fear darkness. Because he told me, lo, I'm with you. Always, even to the end of the world. I was on Periscope today with a friend of mine, KC, out of California. And he mentioned Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20. Where it talks about he is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we can think or imagine. Awesome God. And Elijah knew that. And he looked up to heaven and said, Lord, let your people know that you are God. And I'm your prophet. What? No, that you're God and I'm your prophet. I like that because when you read the New Testament, signs and wonders were given to the apostles to authenticate their ministry. Mark chapter 16, the Lord tells his apostles, these signs shall follow them that believe. He's talking about his apostles, his leadership, those who will preach the gospel. Hebrews chapter 2, verses 1 to 4 talks about that, how God would verify his apostles and prophets by signs, wonders, and mighty deeds. The miracles were given to authenticate the apostle. Take for instance the Apostle Paul. Who would believe him that he was an apostle? Nobody. And if they don't believe if they didn't believe that he was an apostle, they won't listen to him. They won't hear the gospel from him. So God gave him the ability. God gave him the sign of an apostle. The book of Romans tells us. So he was able to authenticate who he was and who gave him the power and the authority to preach the gospel. That's why the Bible says that the church was built on the foundation of the apostles and the prophets. The foundation has been laid now, y'all. Don't look for no new apostles. There were only 12. Oh, yes, I believe that there are some apostles that were sent by the church back then and during the early church days. And I believe that you can say that now too. If we were to send one of you to a foreign country to take a message to the people over there from this church, we can call you an apostle. Well, not with the large letter A. The small letter A will be fit for you because you're not in the office of an apostle. You are acting in the role of a messenger. That's what the word apostle means, messenger. So if there are apostles today, they are messengers sent by the church on a mission. But most of the apostles nowadays, they're pastors. They don't go nowhere. The church don't send them anywhere. If they go on their own. They're not sent by God. But the apostles, the 12 apostles were sent by Jesus Christ. And they were authenticated by signs, wonders, and mighty deeds. And that's how Israel would know that Elijah was a true prophet of God. Now he's the minority, y'all. Everybody was against him. You know what Ahab said to Elijah when he saw him coming that way? He said, Elijah, oh, you who trouble Israel. You trouble Israel. That's what they do to minority. That's what they do to minority. That's what they did Jesus Christ. They figured that he was a troubler of Israel. That's why they killed him. Because he troubled Israel. But for their good. But really, he was not the one who troubled Israel. He was there to save them. The ones who troubled Israel were their Jewish leaders, who led them the wrong way, who cleaned up the outside of the cup, yet the inside of the cup was full of dead men's bones. They would tell these Jewish people and converts that they could be entering the kingdom of God by their own human efforts, by their own works, by keeping the law. Ooh, no one ever went to heaven for keeping the law, y'all. Nobody. Can y'all name one? Can you name one person who kept the law and went to heaven based on that? Not one. Not one. If you break one of the commandments, you break them all, right? And everybody has broken the 10th commandment. Everybody in all human history has broken the 10th commandment. Y'all know what that is? Help me out now. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know your 10 commandments. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, thy neighbor's handmaid, thy neighbor's house, thy neighbor's. You don't cover, if you cover anything that's not yours, you broke the 10 commandments. Paul said, he said, I kept the law perfectly. He said, I kept it. And then all of a sudden, I got to the 10th commandment where it said, thou shalt not covet, and I died. I died because I had broken them all. But I was a coveter. Elijah met the king, and the king said, you troubler of Israel, thou that troublest Israel. And Elijah was a bad man, y'all. And not in the sense of evil, but he was tough. He didn't take no stuff. He like Jesus. Jesus didn't take no stuff, y'all. Jesus was no independent man. Jesus talked to those Pharisees and said, you scribes and you Pharisees, woe to you hypocrites. Bunch of hypocrites. And Elijah was no different. He was strong in every man of God, every woman of God should be strong. No matter what comes against you in this world, you should be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. And tell the world system, tell all the sinners who come against you, I shall not be moved. For greater is he that's in me than any of you in the world. And I love Romans chapter 8. Come on just for a minute, please. Romans 8:31. I love this verse. Paul just gave us a lot of assurance of our salvation, showing us that there's therefore now no condemnation to them that are in Christ, showing us that all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and are the called according to his purpose. He has just said that God has conformed us to the image of his own dear son. He had just said in verse 30 that those whom God did foreknow in eternity's past, God foreknew us, and God called us in time, and then God justified us, and then God glorified us. Right now, you and I have a glorified body fitted for eternity. We'll see it at the resurrection. But I want you to know something. I want you to know this. You are already glorified in Christ. I mean, if you're a Christian, you're already glorified in Christ. I mean, you already seated where? Huh? See that Miss Katina said she's already seated in heavenly places in Christ Jesus. Listen, look at Colossians 1:27. It tells you that right here, right now, you have the glory of God. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. If you don't have no glory in you, you can't let your light shine. But Colossians 1:27 say these words in that last phrase. Christ in you is the hope of glory. If Christ lives in you, guess what you're full of? The glory of God. The glory of God. So verse 31 of Romans chapter 8 says, if God be for us, who can be against us? Who can be against us? We're more than conquerors through Christ Jesus who gives us the strength. Who loves us? The word conqueror means Nike. That's where Michael Jordan got his tennis shoe name from. Nike. Nike means conqueror. But you're not just a conqueror. You are not. Michael Jordan was a Nike. He was a conqueror. He could float through the air sideways and dunk that ball and score. But he overcame all those players on the floor. But you are not just a Nike. You are a super Nike. You are more than a Nike. You are more than a conqueror. And that's what Elijah was, y'all. He was more than a conqueror. He called down fire from God, and the fire fell on the altar. And that fire licked up the water. the wood and licked up the offering. And Israel said, Yahweh, Jehovah is God. That's when Elijah had all of Jezebel's 850 false prophets killed. He was the minority, but he was more by himself with the power of God working for him than the whole world against him. But for some reason, y'all, in Exodus chapter 13, God's people didn't know that. God had given them 10 plagues and brought them out of Egypt. God had given them water from the rock, and that rock was Jesus, according to 1 Corinthians 10, verse 3. That rock that followed them for 40 years in the desert was Jesus. And he gave them the water that they needed. And God gave them quail to eat, all the meat that they wanted. And God gave them manna from the sky. For 40 years, he fed them manna for 40 years. They never went hungry, y'all. When they got to the front door of the promised land, that's your question. Have you ever been right at the brink of being blessed by God, but you were afraid to take that jump? You were afraid that something may happen? You were afraid of something may be there that you don't know about? When God has blessed you, but you are afraid. Yeah, fear of the unknown. Why would we be fear of the unknown when God had made himself known to us and told us to trust him? Well, Israel was at the front door of the promised land. At the front door, y'all. They didn't even have to knock. They didn't have to ring no doorbell. God said, I have given you this land. Just go in. Just go in. Moses sent in 12 spies, one from each tribe, to spy out the land, to see what was the best way to go in and how they would have to combat these people that were there. How would they have? What would they need to do to be able to be a good combat force against these people? Well, they all came back. All 12 came back. They came back safely, and they brought back pomegranates, figs, and grapes. It said that there's plenty in the land. God did not lie. This is a land flowing with milk and honey. We'll never be hungry, y'all. Did you know that when God brought them to the Jordan River, when Joshua took over, 40 years later, after this incident at Kadesh Barnea, God took them to the front door again, and at the Jordan River, the manna stopped. Stop! They never ate manna. They never saw it again, except in the part of gold that went into the Ark of the Covenant as a memorial. But the manna stopped at the front door. You know why? God had promised them milk and honey. And all they had to do was go in there and get it. I mean, God gave them a freezer full of food. For each family, a big refrigerator, a walk-in refrigerator. I had a friend of mine named Jimmy Charles, a good friend of mine. He's a big man. And Jimmy Charles, he was a big eater. And he would call me and said, Percy, I'm in my refrigerator. Hey, what you mean you're in your refrigerator? He said, I walked in there. He said, because I got a whole room that's a refrigerator. A whole room that's a refrigerator. Well, God gave Israel a land that was a refrigerator. All they had to do was walk in. All they had to do was walk in, and they had all the food and drink that they wanted. But they came back and gave a report. And they said the land is good. There's plenty of good food and plenty of good drinks over there. But then 10 of those 12 spies had a report and said the giants in the land is rough. The Anakims are there. We can't take it. We look small in their eyes. We look like grasshoppers to them. Oh, they started crying. Moses, you brought us out here to die by the sword. We could have stayed in Egypt. At least I had flesh pots there and food. But you brought us out here to die. And then Caleb stood up. There were two men who gave the minority report. 10 gave them the majority. The majority said, no, we can't do it. Joshua and Caleb, that God has given us this land. We can do it. But nobody believed them, except Moses. And they picked up rocks to stone Moses and Joshua and Caleb. They believed the majority report. Listen now, Joshua and Caleb, just two people. Who are they? To tell us we can go in and take this land. They forgot. In verse 1, the scripture says that God gave them the land. It's yours. I'm telling you tonight, heaven is yours. Heaven is yours. So don't labor for the food that perishes, but labor for the food that endures unto eternal life. Don't give your life to this world system. You're at the front door. All you got to do is walk in. There ain't no fight. There is no fight to go to heaven. If only Israel had trusted God, they could have walked into the land 40 years earlier in Kadesh Barnea. But because they didn't trust him, they had to wait 40 more years because God gave them a year for a day. That the spies went in the land. The spies went in the land for 40 days. And when they came out, the 10 gave that majority evil. God calls it an evil report that we can't do it. For that reason, God gave them a year for every day the spies were in the land. And he said, those men who are over 20 years old would die in the desert. All except Joshua and Caleb. And Moses died too, but he died not because of that. He died because he smoked the rock. When God told him to speak to the rock, he smoked the rock. But every one of those men died in the desert. God said only those who are 20 years and younger will go into the land. Everybody else died. And they missed out. They missed out on going into the promised land because they didn't trust God. You know what Hebrews chapter 11 says? Those that come to God,
Must believe that he is, and that he's a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. If you don't believe that he is, he won't bless you. He blesses those who trust him, who put their faith in him. Don't believe the majority report. Who is enticing you to do it the world's way. Always do it God's way. And he'll see you through. He'll see you through if you do it his way. As we close out, look at this verse in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13, one of your favorite verses. This is during the time of Israel's journey in the wilderness. When they rejected him. When they did not believe him. When they were going through all these trials. When the going got tough. He said, there is therefore now no temptation, no trial, no suffering, but such as is common to man. Everybody going through it. I mean, the whole nation of Israel was going through it. And if they had trusted God, they all would have gone into the promised land. There's no temptation but such as is common to man, but God is faithful or trustworthy and will not allow you to be tempted above that which you can bear. God would never have taken them into the promised land and not have given them success. They would have had great success over their enemies if they didn't trust God. But God is faithful and will not suffer you to be tempted above that which you are able, but will with the temptation, with the test, with the trouble, with the suffering, with the trial, make a way of escape that you may be able to bear upon it. In other words, if they'd gone in, it would have been just like at Jericho. I mean, those walls were high and thick and formidable, but God said, just go in and take a stroll around the wall 7 times. And on the 7th day, shout. And when they did, shout, the walls came tumbling down. That was that way of escape, y'all. God gave them a way of escape, and they had to do nothing but take a stroll. That's all you got to do in this life. Take a stroll and trust God. Look to Jesus, the author and finisher of your faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, despised his shame, and sat down at the right hand of the Majesty on high. Don't follow the crowds. Just know when the minority report is of God. That's all you need to know. Any questions or comments? We'll start right there. What's that, Doc? Half of them, you're right. That's who he is. The beginning and the end. Hello, Antoinette Burgess. Hello, Dot. In Summit, Mississippi. Hello, Sister Kazada. That's Sandra. That's Sister Sandra out there in Texas. We're having a night. Hello, you sister. Hello, Terry and your husband. Tell Brother Van hello for me. There's my brother Julius out there in Texas, also out there in Killeen. Julius is a retired soldier out there. Oh, Thomas Tucker, another retired soldier over in Georgia. I can't talk about manners. He's already here. Oh, that's Miss Bailey, Sister Bailey. Hello, Sandra Bailey over in Colorado. I want to shut it down, y'all. Thanks for being here tonight. I want to close down Periscope. Okay, we're gonna shut down YouTube.
Sorry it takes so long, YouTube. Here we go.